You ready? Good morning, everyone. I can't hear you. Ah, that's better. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. It's a beautiful morning for an Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander heritage celebration. Woo! Thank you for being here and joining us. My name is Chi-Chi Wu. I'm on the steering committee of the Brookline Asian American Family Network. We're one of the organizers of the event. Thank you. Some of the other organizers include the Town of Brookline and its Office of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Community Relations, represented this morning by the amazing unsung hero of Brookline, Caitlin Starr. The public schools of Brookline, and of course, all the volunteers that make this possible. Brookline Steering Committee members, Alicia Hsu, Linda Chinson-Louie, volunteers, Natalie, is Natalie in here? Natalie Winter, she's out there at the Brookline for Racial Justice. Oh, yay, there you are. As well as, are there other volunteers here I'm missing? Okay. All right. Well, we should also thank, of course, the funders that make this possible, including the Brookline Community Foundation, one of the pillars of our community here in Brookline, and the Boston Foundation's Asian Community Fund. So thank you to them for making this event possible. We have a terrific lineup this morning of an author talk and performances. We have an author talk from Gita Varadarajan. And then we have performances from the Brookline Chinese School Chorus, the Baker School Fan Dance Troupe, the Baker School K-pop group, and last but certainly not least, the Treveni School of Dance. After the performances, as you can see, we have this fabulous fair, so please join us there. We have arts and crafts, we have henna, and most importantly, we got food, free food. Always a highlight. So you can just head right over there. So I'm gonna stop talking because you didn't come to listen to me. You came to listen to Gita. Gita Varadarajan is the acclaimed author of multiple scholastic publications, including Save Me a Seat, My Bindi, and its companion book, My Sari. Am I pronouncing that right?
Sari.
My Sari, like the clothing. All right, My Sari. Gita is a sought-after guest author and speaker at schools across the country, where she inspires children to create stories in their own voices, and we are so happy to have her here. A frequent panelist at children's book ceremonies, Gita has more than 2 decades of teaching experience. Currently, Gita teaches 4th graders in the Princeton Public Schools. She has a master's in literacy instruction from Teachers College, Columbia University. So, Gita, eager to hear your talk.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me here for this very important celebration. The Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander community is actually so vast and so broad that putting us all into one bucket is sometimes very puzzling and confusing. And it doesn't fully celebrate all our different identities, our different nationalities, and our different culture and heritage. So I'm really thankful that you've invited a member of this community in order to showcase the vastness and the diverseness of this beautiful community. So thank you very much for inviting me today. My name is Gita. I'm going to ask you guys to learn to say my name. So say Gita. And my last name, you'll see it here on this Save Me a Seat book. It's Varada Rajan. Gita Varadarajan. There you go. So when I moved to the United States, there was this one person who was in my son's soccer team, and she saw our last name, and she looked at it and she said, "Geeta, there's too many A's. My eyes are going cross. Like, how do you say your name?" So I said it like Varadarajan, and she was like, "Slow down. Teach it to me like a song." And that's how I realized that, people are curious. They want to say your name correctly. But sometimes it can be difficult. And we all, our tongues all roll differently. I can't say many Chinese names correctly. And some of my students will correct me with the pronunciation, or, you have to be more nasal, or you have to roll it differently. And I'm like, I can't do it. But as long as we try, I think that's the most important thing, because names have meanings. And I'm going to share a little bit today about my writing, how I ended up becoming an author, and the importance of identity and authenticity that you need to bring to the table in order to tell your story. I never in my wildest dreams thought I would be a writer, but here I am, standing here in front of you, talking to you about writing. So these are my 3 books that I've written so far. I'm in the process of drafting my 4th one. It hasn't seen the light of day yet. But my first book is called Save Me a Seat. Is anybody familiar with this book? The kids here, have you read the book? Okay, a few of you. It's a story of 2 boys. One is Indian and one is American. And I actually co-wrote it with an American author. It came out in 2016. Then my Bindi is very much a cultural identity book about a little girl who discovers the significance of the Bindi and then wears it proudly to school. And then finally, the follow-up to that, or the companion text to my Bindi with the same characters, is my Sari. And I did see some, the Korean hanbok today. Actually, there is that mentioned in the book, and it's actually celebrating Heritage Night, and this little girl wants to wear her sari for Heritage Night, her mother's sari for Heritage Night. So these are some of the books that I've written, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about today. So let's start with names. I'm going to tell you a quick story of my name, and then I want to hear some of you talk to us about your names as well. So my first name, Geeta, means the song of life. And it comes from the Bhagavad Gita, which is the holy book of the Hindus, just like the Bible is the holy book of the Christians. And, the Torah is the holy book of the Jews. The Quran is the holy book of the Muslims. The Bhagavad Gita is the holy book of the Hindus. And the story goes that when I was born, my mom took me to her dad and said, "What should we name our daughter?" And immediately he said Gita, because he was a very avid reader of the Bhagavad Gita. It was great, except there were 3 other Gitas in the family already, and they were all aunties. So I was like, oh my God, as growing up, I thought my name was like an old lady's name. So I did not like it at all until I learned the significance of my name. And of course, I've come to embrace it now. Varadarajan is my last name, and it is one of the 1,000 names of Vishnu, who is one of the Hindu gods. So my name has meaning. My name has significance. My name has a story behind it. And it's important for me to teach people how to say my name correctly. I can't assume that people will just say it. So what is the story behind your name? Do you have a name that people mispronounce? Is there a significance to your name? Is there a special memory? Who named you? Would anybody like to share?
Thank you so much for being here today. My Korean name is Eri. So the whole name would be Im Eri, and Eri means love of truth in Korean, and my parents named me that.
Eri. Am I saying it right? Eri? Eri. Thank you very much. Let's give Eri a big hand. Thank you. Would anyone else like to share the story of their name? No? Okay. It's called wait time. You've got to give 20 seconds of wait time.
Geeta, thank you. My name is Jenny, is my American name, but my Chinese name is Hu Yan. Hu Yan. Hu Yan refers to the blossoms in the pond that in the morning, the action of them opening in the mist. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Hugh Yan. Hugh Yan. Let's give Hugh Yan a big hand. I start with names because my book, Save Me a Seat, starts with the main character's name being mispronounced at school. So he starts by saying, "No one in America can say my name." On the first day of my 5th grade, my teacher, Mrs. Beam, is brave enough to try. So I think that names are important. And if you are in education as a teacher, it's really important to learn to say your students' names correctly. And for any of us, if we cannot say someone's name, it's okay to ask. And I think that's important. Okay, so I want to start off by talking about myself as a writer. Like I told you, I never dreamt of being a writer when I was a kid. I am a very indisciplined writer. I've come to learn that writing is hard work, but I'm very lazy. So I have a writing den, supposedly that desk. But I never sit on that desk because, I feel like there's not enough space on my table. So I sit on that couch. Guess what's in front of the couch? A TV. So I'm watching TV. I'm flicking the channels. I'm obsessed with Netflix. I obsessively watch shows. I binge watch them. And then once in a while, I'll type something out. Once in a while. So I'm not disciplined. And then I've come to realize that you need to have discipline. This is really hard work. I came upon writing by chance, but that's not going to be, the rest of my writing life is not going to be so lucky. So I'm trying to develop a better habit, but that's my writing den. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I ended up becoming a writer by going all the way back to my childhood, because I think when I start to think about how did this happen, how do you end up writing a book at the age of 40? How did you not know anything about the idea, about the fact that you could write? How did you discover it so late in life? I decided to unpack my life. And I found there was a pattern. There was something that was preparing me to be a writer. So I'm going to go back all the way to my childhood for 2 reasons. One is to unpack that. And the other is that actually, when you start to observe yourself and when you start to remember things from your life, those serve as juice for your stories. So I'm going back to when I was 4 years old. That's a picture of me when I was 4. I loved to pose. I was very much an extrovert. In fact, my mom says I could say very big words. And so in our Indian parties, the aunties and uncles would be sitting around and my parents would be like, "Geeta, say Karnataka," which is the name of a state. And I would come and say it and everybody would clap. So I think I had a way with words when I was a kid. And we would celebrate me pronouncing these big words. And I loved to pose. I was an extrovert. And then, of course, when I grew older, I started to become more closed and quieter and more observant. By the age of 4, I went to live with my grandparents, my tata and my tati. I didn't go because my parents abandoned me or anything, but because, by the way, they lived in a city called Chennai. And Chennai is known for its crowded streets, temples, flower sellers, and filter coffee. You get the best filter coffee in Chennai. It's in the south of India, the southern tip of India. Now, I went there because my parents, Suri and Raji, they worked in the tea plantations. My dad was a manager in the tea plantations, and there were no good schools there. So they sent me off to live in the city with my grandparents. But life in the plantations was great. And I used a lot of all of this in my story, Save Me a Seat. In fact, the main character's name is Ravi Surya Narayanan, which nobody in America can pronounce. Surya Narayanan is my dad's name. sorry, Surya Narayanan is my father's name. And the grandfather in the story works in the tea plantations. And there's a jar of leeches that come into the story. My dad used to come home with leeches on his legs. That's why he wore those long socks, because in the rainy season, the ground was infested with leeches. So I'm telling you all this because I brought my life into my book. But I did it in a way that was, it was not revealing of my family story, but I used a lot of what was going on in my life into my own story. And I think that vulnerability and authenticity is important in order to tell a good story. And the fabulous thing about fiction is that you can do it with made-up characters. So you can tell your story through a bunch of made-up characters, and it's the most therapeutic thing to do. So in my grandfather's apartment, my brother joined us, and then my cousin joined us. So we were all his grandchildren lived with my grandparents, and life was really good because we lived right across from the Bay of Bengal. And I woke up every day to the lapping of waves. I went to sleep listening to the lapping of waves. And most importantly, my big inspiration was my grandfather. Now, my grandfather was a very simple man. He was an engineer by profession. However, he was a master storyteller. Every afternoon, he would gather all the not every afternoon, every Sunday afternoon, he would gather all the grandchildren and he would tell us stories, all kinds of stories. Stories about, his childhood, stories about him and my grandmother having a fight, stories about that were made up, stories that were fantastical, stories that were real. Sometimes we would be characters in his stories and we would act out parts in his stories. So much so that I started to see the world around me in story. I started to see, he would talk to us all the time, tell us stories when we went to the park, when we went to the beach, when we went vegetable shopping, when we went to the temple. So much so that when I went to school, and I went to an all-girls convent school, I saw stories around me. Now, this is a picture of my 6th grade class. This is where I'm sitting. I was a very quiet, shy girl. I was not the kind of kid who raised her hand in class. That 4-year-old Geeta was gone. Now there was this 12-year-old Geeta who was very quiet, very shy, but very observant. I observed my teachers very closely. Now, Mrs. Bernard, my 6th grade teacher, she had like a very kind eyes, but there was something weird that would happen with her eyebrows when she got mad. They would start to go up and move like caterpillars. And so when I was writing my story, Save Me a Seat, and I had to think about a teacher character, Mrs. Bernard came to mind. So I did create a character whose eyebrows moved up and down like caterpillars. And then when I had to think about a villain, I thought about this kid who's sitting behind, that shrimpy kid with braids. She was very mean, and she was the boss of 6th grade. And so when I had to think about a villain character, I put her qualities into that villain. So much, all the juice for my stories were coming from my real life, and continue to come from my real life. And lunch was really important because I had my best friend, Priya. She and I would eat lunch together, and we would tell stories about everybody in the class, about our teachers, about the mean girl and her gang of sidekicks. But the stories remained in my head, and nobody knew I was a good storyteller. So my grandfather taught me how to tell a good story. I was now becoming a really good storyteller. Nobody knew I could tell a good story except for my best friend. And I think the solution came when we moved. I got married. I became a teacher. Story time was the best time in my class. And then we moved to America in 2010 and then went on to do my master's at Teachers College, Columbia University. And I was in a class which was about writing for children. And we had to explore middle grade voice. So I had to write 3 chapters exploring middle grade voice. I wrote a story called The Stinky Lunchbox Man. And it was about a boy called Suraj, who was renamed Ravi in the book, and about his first day of school in America, where he was bullied by a boy called Dylan Samreen, who is an ABCD, American-born confused Desi. Desi means Indian. And it's like an American Indian was the bully character in my story, and he was bullying the fresh off the boat Indian. So I really was exploring the tension between those who are moving into this country as immigrants and those who are born here but are like first generation or second generation immigrants. I think it was a story that was very unique because it had 2 brown characters where the protagonist and the antagonist were both brown. And it was all the stuff that I had experienced in my life and was experiencing right then when I had moved that I put into the story. My professor was a children's book author called Sarah Weeks. She has written 50 books. And I remember I pressed the send button for my assignment at 12 a.m. 12 a.m. I pressed the send button. And within an hour at 1 a.m., and I was just cleaning up, I was, putting my computer away when I got a notification. And it was from my professor, Sarah. She said, "This story is amazing. I can't stop reading." I, of course, got an A+ for my class. And I was very thrilled. And at the end of class, Sarah Week calls me. And she says, "Geeta, what are you going to do with your story?" And I was like, "I don't know, Sarah. I just wrote it for class. Thank you for the A+. And she was like, "I think you need to do something about this. You need to get this to reach the world. How about you and I write the story together?" I had no idea what any of that meant. But I just jumped on the bandwagon because, hey, she's saying we can write the story together and she's a published author. She should know better. So I jumped in. I got an agent. She said, "Do you know how difficult it is to get a good agent?" I was like, "Really? Okay, thank you." So I get an agent, then I get an editor. And these are like very big, like editor from Scholastic, David Levitan. She said, "Do you know how big he is?" I was like, "No." So I got this really good agent, really good editor, all by chance, completely by chance. And we wrote the book fast and furious. We were obsessed with writing. We had countless conversations, very deep conversations about our boys. I have 2 sons, Vaishnav and Vedav, and she has 2 sons too. This is when they were younger. This is now. And in fact, my oldest son is married. And I have a little granddaughter, Saira. That's her. I was trying to make her read a book. And she looked at the book for a while. Then she took the book and put it into her mouth. So it was so cute. But we talked a lot about our sons because Save Me a Seat was about 2 boys. We talked a lot about food, which also found its way magically into the book. I invited Sarah to my house and fed her dosas and biryani and chicken butter masala and all of the yummy Indian food that she heard about and hadn't tasted. And she invited me and fed me scalloped potatoes and roast chicken and things like that. We talked about our mothers. And in fact, at the back of the book, there's a recipe from her mother on how to make apple crisp, which is there in the story, and naan khatais, which is an Indian cookie, which is my mom's recipe. And I promise you, it's really, really good if you follow the recipe to the T. And that's how Save Me a Seat happened. We also had some very difficult conversations about race. And I remember this one very, very vividly. We were at a part of the story where we were exploring the parents in the book. Ravi's mom, Ravi's grandmother actually says something kind of not very nice about Americans, that they're beef-eating cowboys. And we were putting these things in, so we needed to really flesh out what we felt about race. So she asked me, "So what do you guys think about American?" I asked her, "So what do you think about Indians?" And she was too scared to say the answer. So she said, "What do you think about Americans?" I said, "It's not me, but there's a general impression that Americans eat food out of a can." She said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah. In India, a lot of people think that Americans just eat fast food, and the divorce rates are very high." So we said, we got to change that. So in the story, the mother of the white boy Joe makes food at home and follows recipes from Bon Appetit. And the family is full. It's not like, a broken home. Then I asked her, "What do you think about Indians?" And she said, "Well, I think Indians have a smell about them." I was like, "What do you mean have a smell?" She said, "There's like a curry smell around them." So I said, "Okay, that's crazy because, we take 2 showers a day." So in the story, Ravi's taking 2 showers a day, and they think they're too smart. So we played around with all these stereotypes and tried to break them in the story as well. And that's a picture of us when the book was launched. That was our book launch. So what is the story about? It's about 2 boys, Ravi and Joe. Joe has lived all his life in New Jersey until his best friends have moved away, and he has APD, or auditory processing disorder. Ravi, on the other hand, moved from Bangalore, India, to the US just like me. And he's having a hard time fitting in. They both have a common enemy, the cool and mean Dylan Samreen. With the help of a jar of leeches and a double blue peanut M&M, they get a hold of their life in one crazy week. I wrote in Ravi's voice, Sarah wrote in Joe's voice, and we went back and forth. And the beauty of the story is both Ravi and Joe never talk to each other. So the whole thing is an internal dialogue. So I had found my voice, and now I was ready to write by myself. And the inspiration for my next book, which is a picture book, My Bindi, came when I was doing a writing workshop in Edison, New Jersey. So Edison has a very large South Asian population, a lot of Indians, a lot of Pakistanis. And I was doing this writing workshop where the kids had to write a scene where the villain and the main character were sitting next to each other. And one of the kids wrote a story about being bullied for wearing her bindi to school. And when I heard that, I was like, this is really heartbreaking. And that remained in my head for a very long time. And I was driving home and I was thinking about that a lot. I was also thinking about my mother, who wears her bindi all the time, even when she sleeps, and she wears it with so much pride. And I said, shouldn't that girl in Edison feel like my mom? Shouldn't she be able to just wear her bindi with pride to school? And that's how I wrote the story, My Bindi. And then with the same main character and inspiration again from the saris in my mother's cupboard. That was my mother's wedding sari that she gifted me to wear. My grandmother's sari that was passed on to me and which I wore at my wedding. I thought about all these and said, maybe I could write a story about a young kid who wants to wear her mother's sari and the passing of like your heritage to your daughter or to your child. And so the story of My Sari was born, and My Sari came out in 2024. I feel that writing is really important because writing can change our worlds. And I think that representation of different races, different types of people, different genders is really important in children's literature. Our children are learning about the world around them through the text they read. So diversity in children's literature is critical. This is 2015. This infographic shows that 73% of children's literature had white characters in them. Second was animals and trucks. And you can see that the rest of the world was, you have the Indian and First Nations at 0.9% representation. However, things have improved in 2020. You can see that the numbers of Asian, Latinx, Black, even disability have gone up, white has gone down. But what's interesting is animals and trucks, it's gone up to 29%. Okay, so it's improving, but it's also interesting how now people are playing it safe. Oh, you don't want a white character in the story? Fine, I'll just make it an animal or a truck. So I think it's important for members of our community to put our lives out there and to share it because our children need to hear those stories. When I read Save Me a Seat in my classroom, and there's those two South Asian kids. They're the experts in the room. They're raising their hand. They're teaching everybody about their culture. They're teaching people how to say the names of the characters. When I read an Asian story, I am sometimes not able to pronounce some of the, the food or talk about how the family functions. And you have the Asian students in the classroom become the experts, and suddenly they are seen. They are valued. They don't feel invisible anymore. So that is why it is so critical to have this diversity reflected in the text that students read. And therefore, it is so important for us to nurture the voices of all our children. It is the community. We need a family. School alone can't do it. And if you look at schooling in America, about 90% are white, middle-class American teachers. So how are we going to, get all our children feeling that they can bring their authentic selves, their full selves to school because they are in hiding. They come hide behind desks and never fully reveal who they are. So I think texts by diverse authors and exposing your children to texts by diverse authors is very, very important. This is even later. I think things are improving, but there's a long way for us to go. And I'm going to close today's session, and we'll open it out for questions after, with this very powerful story of Marisol. Marisol is a 5th grader, and she lives in New York City. She's Dominican, and it was her writing celebration in her classroom. They were celebrating writing personal narratives. So I want you to imagine you're sitting in this classroom listening to Marisol read her story. So Marisol has walked up to the center of her room. She's wearing her Holy Communion dress. She has her story in front of her, and this is how it goes. My name is Marisol, and I'm the kind of girl who never has a birthday party. I live with my step-grandmother, and all that she ever says is get up and get going. Last summer, I went to the Dominican Republic, and there I met my step-cousin. She was turning 4. There was a beautiful birthday party. There were pink balloons. There was music playing. We played duck, duck, goose, goose. And in the center of the room, there was a table. And on that table was a big pink cake. And on that big pink cake were 4 pink candles. It was a beautiful birthday party. Now I'm back in New York City. Next week, I turn 10. But I'm the kind of girl who never has a birthday party. Imagine you were sitting there listening to Marisol. Because you know what happened? Next week, Marisol turned 10. And when she walked into her classroom, it was decorated with pink balloons. There was beautiful music playing. They played duck, duck, goose, goose. And in the center of the room, there was a table. And on that table was a big pink cake. And on that pink cake were 10 pink candles. And on that cake was written, to Marisol, for all the birthdays you never had. Writing changed Marisol's world. Writing can change your world. So whether you have tried writing or have never written at all, write, because we matter and our stories matter. Write because writing can change the world. Write because it's the most powerful thing to do. Thank you very much.
No. Thank you so much, Geeta. That was so amazingly inspirational. That all of that, and thank you for sharing about your life and your process, and Marisol's story, and also for teaching us how to pronounce your name. And also thank you for being willing to take questions and answers. I'm going to kick it off. I want to ask you, you showed us where you write, and you told us a little bit about how you write. I want to ask you what you write with.
I actually have Blackwing pencils. Has anyone heard of the Blackwing pencil? If you haven't, you must buy one. Blackwing apparently was used by Stephen King, and he had a particular process. He had like 9 to 10 pencils that he would sharpen, and he would keep them all in a row, and then he would write, and as it became blunt, he would take the next one and the next one. So he would run through all his 10 pencils during his writing time every day. So inspired by him, I like writing with a pencil because there's something happens to my brain when the thoughts kind of tend to flow when I use a pencil on paper rather than type it out. My writing is far richer. It's far better than when I type out my story. So yeah, that's what I use. And I bought myself an ink pen too, where you kind of like, pump the ink in, the old style, not with the cartridge. I don't know, there's something, I think the writing implements matter. So I'm trying to make a ceremony about the kind of instruments or implements that I use.
Thank you, Geeta. We had a fascinating conversation last night at dinner about the writing process, and a whole conversation about writing in cursive. That's right. So let's see. Do audience members have any questions? You'll have to kind of wave your hand because it's the lights. It's hard to see. So any questions from the audience? Oh, right there. There you go.
Hi, I just got one question about when you're writing a book, what kind of language is your in your first language that you just imagine to make a story?
Yeah.
Because I know like your English is like probably like not your first language then.
That's a great question. So I grew up learning English from when I was a child because, we're a British colony. India was a British colony for about 200, 300 years. And I think that many of our schools are English medium. So I did grow up learning English almost like a first language. I do, of course, know my mother tongue really well, but English is the language of power in India. So yeah, I think in English, I write it. Therefore, my stories, I think of them, I dream in English and not in my mother tongue, which is, you see how much my brain has been colonized. Yeah.
Yes, you had said earlier that you were taking a class and then you wrote your story for your class. Was this in college or grad school? And what class was it in particular? Because there's a lot of students here.
Yes. I was doing my master's in literacy education, and that was not a class they offer as part of the college course. That particular fall, they got this author to come and do a children's writing course, writing for children course, right? Writing children's literature course. And a few students were handpicked for it. And usually those students were doctoral students and people who were involved with a research organization called the Reading and Writing Project. So I don't know. I think my professor must have seen something. She recommended me for that course. So I got in completely by chance, and they waived off one of my required courses. So it was not a course that was usually offered, but every now and then, colleges bring some special people to come and do a course, and that was one of those years. So really, I think the stars had aligned for me, because how did I get into that course? That happened just that year. It was not something that happened every year. And Yeah, I magically found my way into that place. Yes. There at the back there.
Would you say it's good for people of different races to make friends with each other more? And do you think it would help combat negative stereotypes about races?
Absolutely. So just very quickly about Save Me a Seat. There's a lot of assumptions. The book is about breaking assumptions and questioning our assumptions. That's what the story is about at a higher level. And I think we make assumptions about each other's cultures all the time. Like there's implicit bias that we carry with us, and we make assumptions all the time. And the only way to break those assumptions is if we deliberately cross over and make friendships with people from different races. I think that in the book, Ravi is assuming a whole bunch of things about the white boy. And because he is also got APD, he thinks he's not smart. So there's a bunch of other assumptions, not based on race, but based on ability and intellectual ability that he's making. And then finally, he comes to realize all of those were wrong. So I think it's really important, like you said, that we actually extend our circle of friends. One way, I've attended this workshop by somebody called Dolly Chugh. She's a professor at NYU. And in fact, when Save Me a Seat came out, she wanted me to come and talk to her students because that's her work, is implicit bias and how we can combat our implicit biases. And she says that look at your Facebook or your social media friends. How many of them are just like you? How many of them are different from you? Go out and, that's a good way to kind of see. It's like a good account taking of, are you actually trying to find people who are different from you to be your friend? So that's an important one that you bring up. Thank you.
Hello, I just had a quick question. So what inspires you to advocate for diverse stories, and how can we as a Brookline community continue to foster a more diverse community?
Well, as an immigrant to the United States, it was very, very lonely. It was also very, very tiring because you had to constantly explain yourself. You had to constantly prove that you were worth something. And, I came from a position of strength. In India, I was in a position of power. I also came from the upper crust. So to come here and find that you're here, I suddenly realized what it felt like to be at the bottom. And I don't think I would have ever experienced that if I hadn't moved here, because life was easy for me there. I came here and I suddenly said, oh my gosh, why do I have to prove myself constantly? Why do I have to say, have to go above and beyond and work extra hard to be just in the normal state? And that's when I realized what so many people in this country are going through by the sheer color of their skin or the experiences that they've had or not had. And I think that experience, that what I had, is what has made me advocate for the for diversity and for inclusion, and for really looking at how we are segregating people even today on the basis of, like in schools, I am against certain things like a gifted and talented program. I think all children should have access to the gifted and talented programs, not just a few. I think every single one of us here is gifted and talented in some way or the other. So I think that segregation in all different ways that continue to happen in housing, in schools, in tracking, and all the things that we do, I think as a teacher too, I see it happening. And that's why writing is one way in which I'm kind of advocating for it. How can Brookline do it? I think really examining systems. And I was just talking to Natalie yesterday, and she was talking about doing this work at the policy level. I think we have to examine our systems very, very closely, and really think about like who is being left out of that frame. Like who is in the frame, who is highlighted, who is in the fringes, and how can we then make everybody be part of that frame? Or how can we just break the frame so there's no frame at all? and everybody can be part of the community.
Okay, just in terms of
Yeah,
yes, in
thank you.
terms of minutes, we only have a couple more, so I'm going to do one more question. Okay.
So, how do you feel like when you write your books? Like, what inspires you when you write them?
That's a very good question. So I think when I'm writing, I'm feeling really good. It's like when you do something you really love and you want to keep going. That's how I feel when I get started. But sometimes to get started is really hard. And it's like anything, right? I remember when I was playing tennis, my mom wanted me to play tennis. And to get ready to go to the tennis court, I'm like, I don't want to go today. Can I just like not go? Can I just hang out and just hang on my couch or, play with my friends? But then when I finally go to the tennis court, I really have a good time. It's kind of the same way with my writing. So I'm trying to break that by practicing every day. So I started a journaling practice where every morning, even today I journaled, I write something for about 10 to 15 minutes. And so I think that helps me with the starting issue. But when I get started with my story and I know where it's going, I get into the skin of my characters, and then I'm having a really good whale of a time because it's like writing a movie. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Geeta. Geeta Varadarajan, amazing writer, amazing speaker. Learned so much from your talk today and your answers to the question. Really appreciate you coming to Brookline to talk with our audience here. So
Thank you all very much. Thank you.
And Geeta will be signing books over there at the Turtle Books table. So please get a copy of her book, get her to sign it. Her books, I am looking forward to not only reading them, just giving them as gifts to my nieces and nephews.
Thank you very much. And finally, please do promote diverse authors. I think that's the only way we can encourage more voices to be in the business. Because if no one's buying our books, then we can't keep writing. So please do promote. I see lots of different authors whose books have been exhibited there today. So please, not just mine, but there are other beautiful books as well. Make an attempt to read books with characters who are very different from you. Thank you.
Great message to end on. Thank you so much, Geeta. Okay, we are going to transition now to performances. We have 4 amazing performances. I guess we're in the afternoon now, this afternoon. We're going to start with the Brookline Chinese School's chorus. I think this is the first time they are performing for us, so really looking forward to hearing from them. And they have a video, I believe, before they start. Oh, they're playing. Okay, so they have a video. So Brookline Chinese School Chorus, come on down. Yay!
We have a standard like kids.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we need to.
Right. It's not fit. Yeah. Okay. So we can. Everybody coming. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. We're Brookline Chinese School, and this is our self-organized like a chorus, and have a beautiful name, named by our teachers, Brook Bell Chorus. And this is our first show. Hope everybody like it. And before start, I want to introduce like Brookline Chinese School, and we offer like a multiple level of Chinese classes. And for kids, we have from K to 8th grade, and for adults, we have beginner, intermediate, and advanced Chinese class. So we also have a lot of like community activities as shown in the video. And I hope like everybody can enjoy our show and sometimes visit our school. Thank you. Everybody here? We're still waiting our performers.
When you're ready, just let them know. You can just say we're ready.
Okay, so Elsa, do you want to hold the microphone for kids? Sorry. Make a circle, maybe. 往前站一点哈。我们要 make a circle because we want to sound together. Make us a bit closer so we can hear. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Very good job. Excellent job.
Thank you.
With mics? Yeah. All right. Round of applause for the Brookline Chinese School Chorus. Weren't this kids adorable? Beautiful music. All right. Next, we have the Baker School Fan Dance.
Introducing themselves.
Uh-huh.
The performance.
Okay. So you guys will, all right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. You got the mic.
Yeah. So so you are gonna share the mic.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, my name is Alice. Hello, my name is Esther. Hello, my name is Harang. We are the Baker Fan Dance team, and we are from different backgrounds, but we all love Korean culture. We are so excited to share a traditional Korean fan dance with you today. This beautiful dance has been part of Korean culture for hundreds of years. Using these large, colorful fans, we create images from nature, like blooming flowers, fluttering butterflies, and elegant peacocks. You might even see ocean waves, tall mountains, and the flowing wind in our movements. We, the Baker Fan Dance team, have worked really hard to make our dance special. We hope you enjoy the beauty and feel the magic of this traditional Korean dance. Please enjoy our performance. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the Baker School fan dancers. What a beautiful and lovely performance. Love those costumes. Such a beautiful sight. So thank you again. All right, next up we have the Baker School K-pop performance. Baker School is kind of overrepresenting here, isn't it? Yeah. I see some Baker School folks here. So they are going to entertain us with their interpretation of the hit song Golden and the song Soda Pop. So, Baker School K-pop dancers. Okay.
Hello everyone, we are from the Baker K-pop team. K-pop is music and dance from Korea. It is very popular all around the world. K-pop has fun music, strong beat, and cool dance moves. We practice every Thursday after school. We work hard and have a lot of fun. Today we'll perform 2 K-pop dance for you. Do you know K-pop Demon Hunters? We will perform Golden and Soda Pop from the movie. We hope you enjoy our performance. Thank you for watching.
I was a ghost, I was alone. 두어진 길 속에 given the throne, I didn't know how to believe I was the queen that I'm meant to be. I lived 2 lives, tried to play both sides, but I couldn't find my own place. Caught a pet child, 'cause I got too wild, but now that's how I'm getting paid. 끝없이 on stage, I'm done hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to be. We dreaming hard, we came so far, now I believe. We're going up, 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 it's our moment. You know together we're glowing, gonna be golden. Up, up, up with our voices, you wanna get this so on it. Gonna be golden. Oh, I'm done hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to be. Oh, our time, no fears, no lies, that's who we're born to be. Waited so long to break these walls down, to wake up and feel like me. Put these patterns all in the past now, and finally live like the girl they all see. No more hiding, now be shining like I'm born to be. 'Cause we are hunters, voices strong, and I know I believe. We're going up, 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 it's our moment. You know together we're glowing, gonna be golden. Oh, up, up, up with our voices, you wanna get this so on it. Gonna be golden. Oh, I'm done hiding. soda pop. You're all I can think of. Every cup I drink up. You're my soda pop, my little soda pop. Cool me down, you're so hot. Warm me up, I won't stop. You're my soda pop, my little soda pop. My little soda pop.
Make me wanna flip the top. 한번 come make it hit the spot. Every little drip and drop, fizz and pop. 소름 돋아, it's getting hot.
Just how sipping and it's dripping out. It's done. I need a second round and pour a lot. And don't you stop till my soda pop fizzles out. 속에 그려왔던 너. 난 절대 놓칠 수 없어. 너 원했고 나 waited so long for a taste of soda. So the wait is over, baby. Come on, tell me you just can't get enough. You're my soda pop, my little soda pop. You're gonna slow, warm me up, I won't stop. You're my soda pop, my little soda pop. You're my soda pop, gotta take every drop.
How fun and adorable are the K-pop dancers? I think I saw some of you singing along when they were doing Golden. So round of applause. Thank you. Woo. Okay, so last but not least, we have the Treveni School of Dance. This is a perennial favorite. I think they've been coming to this AANHPI celebration not only for the past 4 years, but back when we were doing the Lunar New Year celebration, they came a bunch of times. So it's always wonderful to have them here. Welcome Nina Gulati, who will explain the dance to you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, some of you may not have had the opportunity to see, but like the Western ballet, Indian classical dance is a very ancient art form. It started thousands of years ago in the Hindu temple. So what you're going to see in the dance is these are statues in a temple, that 4 dancers. As the music begins, the statues come alive, they dance with joy. As the music fades, they are back as statues in the temple. So here are the beautiful dancers, Kai, Suri, Ruku, and Ritoja, presenting Tarana.
Any School of Dance. Woo! Make a bow. All righty. What wonderful performances. So this concludes the performance part of the program. We have food out there. We have vendors. Please visit our vendors. Get a book from Gita and get it signed. There are other authors there, so please support Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander authors. Before we end, we're going to hear a few words from our fearless leader, Caitlin Starr, Assistant Director of the Office of Diversity.
Thank you. I'm actually out here to thank you. So, on behalf of the Brookline Asian American Family Steering Committee and the rest of our planning group, we wanted to present you with these flowers for just always being willing to moderate and MC these events, for all of the work you do within our community and everything that you are. You are amazing, Chi-Chi. Thank you so much for everything you do. Okay, and with that, please go enjoy all the food and the books and the vendors and the businesses that we have here today. Thank you to Gita so much, and thank you to all of our performers.